The tune-up specifications of a car calls for the spark plugs to be tied into a torque of 31 Newton meters. You plan to tighten the plugs by pulling on one end of a wrench, which is 22 centimeters long. Due to the cramped space under the hood, you cannot pull at a 90-degree angle, therefore you'll be pulling at an angle of 130 degrees with respect to the wrench shaft. Okay, what is the force you must pull on? All right, so we're going to go with the idea here of torque equals R cross F, which is the same as, I know this should be a vector too, but this is just, I'm not too concerned with that. So R cross F is R, same as R perpendicular F, RF perpendicular, which is the same as RF sine of theta, where theta is the angle between R and F. So to draw a picture here, we have ourselves a nut and we have a wrench, like so. And there we go. And this distance right here is going to be 22 centimeters, which I'm going to call 0.22 meters. And this, there we go. This will be R, and this will be F, where this angle right here is 130 degrees. And your first question might be like, wait a sec, how do we know we're pulling that direction and not this direction where that's 130 degrees? It doesn't matter. It'll give us the same answer either way. So all we're really concerned with is the perpendicular portion right here. So this is 130 degrees, 130 or 135? 130. So the idea here is that's 130 degrees. I'm going to call this F perpendicular. I'm going to call this F parallel because this is with respect to R. And yes, so I'm going to use this formulation here, R, F perpendicular. So if we look at this angle right here, I'm going to call this phi. That's going to be 130 minus this 90 degree angle, so that's going to be 40 degrees. And so we'll do SOHCAHTOA. You might be thinking, wait a second, aren't we supposed to use sine up here? Why do we even bother? Yes, but sometimes that can get confusing. It's usually easier to look at it in terms of perpendicular and parallel portions because you're never quite sure if the angle they give you is the right theta here. So that's why I like to draw it out and do in terms of perpendicular and theta, where this force perpendicular, this is just the force vector decomposed into two vectors, and I can look at the specific one that's perpendicular to our R vector. So for this one, it's going to be cosine. So cosine of theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. That's a terrible hypotenuse, but it looks kind of interesting. So which is going to be, the adjacent is going to be F perpendicular. The hypotenuse is just going to be F. Therefore, if we want to solve for perpendicular, force perpendicular, that's going to be equal to F cosine theta. Therefore, the torque equals R, which is the length of the wrench. Yep. Times F perpendicular, which is going to be F cosine theta. Therefore, our mystery F is torque over R cosine theta. And putting some numbers into this, we get, 22 centimeters, which is 0.22 meters, times cosine of 40 degrees. Though I think we could use We probably could use 130 as well, but I'm not going to overthink it. So putting this into a calculator, on, clear, make sure degrees, we are degrees. 31 divided by quantity, 0.22 times cosine of 22, close parentheses, this gives us a value of 152 newtons, which is about, I don't know, about 15 kilograms, so 30 pounds. That's a pretty hefty torque, a lot of force to put on that. So 152, 31, yeah, okay, maybe. It's a funny angle in the short wrench that's making it difficult. So, big concept, what we did here, they asked us for force given a torque and a radius. And so we wrote the equation torque equals R cross F, cross product. We then looked at the concept of what a cross product means. It's basically the measure of how perpendicular two vectors are. We then drew a triangle and a picture, did some SOHCAHTOA, followed by some math, and that gave us an answer. Hope that helped. See you next time.